This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
A $2 trillion relief package pushing through Congress as the nation reels from the shutdown and closures prompted by COVID-19. What it could mean for you, your life, and your family. And they're working on solutions as the entire state faces closures and shutdowns. We go inside a local pizzeria trying to move forward and serve you as society makes a shift. Sending some love to Hoosiers from downtown Indy, our photographer Eldon Wheeler spotted this giant heart lit up in the windows of the JW Marriott this morning. He returned just a little while later to find fog had rolled in and the heart gone from view. I'm Meredith Barrick, and this Wednesday we're going to do things a little bit differently and start with good news first. That is your Central Indiana forecast. Storm Team 6's Todd Clausen is going to put a spring into your step with your afternoon outlook. Todd, the fog finally clearing out, the sun coming through.
Yeah, we told you this morning, if you're watching Good Morning Indiana, you had to be patient, but eventually that fog would disperse and it would turn into a beautiful afternoon, and you could see that on some of our tower cameras. The visibility has come way up. It was next to nothing earlier. Officially a half-mile at the airport in Indianapolis, 1 mile in Muncie, but as you look from downtown off to the west, you can see that cloud cover is starting to break apart. Plenty of blue sky. Off in the distance there by the airport, maybe a little bit of fog still in the picture, and that's why we're getting that half-mile reading. But from this point forward throughout the remainder of the day, the fog will continue to lift or disperse, and we'll have plenty of sunshine. And you need to take advantage of today because it is going to be the best day of the week weather-wise. It's not the warmest, that's still to come, but it's going to be completely dry throughout the day today. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s, but now that we're getting into the sunshine here, we should start to see the temperatures moderate quite quickly throughout the remainder of the afternoon. By 4 p.m., mostly sunny skies. 6 p.m. up to 60 degrees. So our high today is probably going to be right around 6, 7 o'clock this evening. And then we'll fall back down into the 50s as we head past a sunset. We do have quite a bit of rain heading our way once again, unfortunately. We'll talk more about when that arrives and how much we could see coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Working for you, RTV6 is keeping track of the reported cases of COVID-19 for you. The virus has now taken the lives of 14 Hoosiers. The state of Indiana is reporting at least 477 cases total. RTV6 has broken down the cases by county on the IndyChannel.com. But let's talk globally reported numbers now. There have been nearly 450,000 cases reported total, nearly 60,000 of those in the United States. The coronavirus is being blamed for killing nearly 20,000 people internationally, but more than 110,000 people have recovered from the virus. Johns Hopkins University has been tracking this data. Happening this afternoon, the U.S. Senate plans to vote on a $2 trillion stimulus package designed to flood the economy with money in an effort to stabilize households and businesses that have been reeling from the coronavirus outbreak. The bill would send $1,200 checks to many Americans, create a $367 billion loan program for small businesses, and establish a $500 billion lending fund for industries, cities, and states. Indiana's stay-at-home order is now in effect statewide. It will last through April 7th, but can be adjusted if necessary. The order requires all Hoosiers to stay at home unless you need to get out for necessities such as food, medicine, or taking care of a loved one. You can also leave if your field of work is considered essential. All non-essential businesses will be closed during the order. You can still get your groceries and order takeout and delivery from many restaurants. The service industry and its workers are one of the groups taking a hit by the COVID-19 crisis. So here at RTV6, every day we are featuring local establishments that are open to serve you. And we're calling this new initiative, We're Open Indy. This midday, we want to bring you a smile. Our Lauren Casey takes us to a family-owned restaurant in Franklin, serving free meals to more than 100 people in need every single day.
Making food out of anything, all these contributions from other folks too.
It's 5 o'clock in downtown Franklin, and south of the courthouse, Main Street is quiet. But inside Richard's Brick Oven Pizza,
Tonight we've got a pasta dish with lots of veggies and chicken.
The centerpiece brick oven is ablaze, and a few busy hands prepare to feed hundreds.
You know, everybody's in the same boat here, and we have the ability, so we want to fill the need.
Filling the need while filling bellies. Richard Goss is the owner, and he's proud to partner with Chef Andre's World Central Kitchen, a global organization working to create food resiliency in the face of disasters.
It just seemed to be the right thing to do.
In a time of uncertainty, people in the Franklin community can know they have a warm meal waiting.
We just come to the car and say how many.
Yes, we are. How many do you have?
We want you here. We want you to take care of your family.
And take care of the most vulnerable. We talked to a good Samaritan not wanting any recognition, picking up meals for her senior neighbors.
There's just this attitude of what can everybody do to help others, and I think that represents our community of Franklin.
As she tells the staff how many meals she needs, she tells me people here are not panicking.
I grew up here, and my husband grew up here, and we moved back after living away, and it really is that type of community.
And that is Franklin. Restaurants like Maine and Madison that closed up shop this week donated what they had in their kitchen to Richard. The owner of a local cocktail bar, The Mint, lends a hand in Richard's kitchen.
You know, we just started doing this with no regard for funding, but the community has, you know, everybody's stepping up. Let's take care of each other.
In Franklin, Lauren Casey, RTV6.
If you are in need, anyone is welcome between 6 and 7 p.m. You will stay in your car. Richard says they welcome donations to keep this effort going. The restaurant is also open for carryout to customers. We want to share your stories of Hoosiers working together during this tough time. Share the positive efforts going on in your community by emailing us at workingforyou@rtv6.com. Now to the massive stimulus package created by Senate leaders and White House officials. Negotiators are said to have been meeting the past 5 days to work it out to boost the economy as job losses continues. Here's ABC's Alex Prochet.
As the sun rose this morning, many Americans waking up to new hope.
Good news for families all across America. At last, we have a deal.
On Capitol Hill, Senate leaders announcing that Congress and the White House reached an agreement on an unprecedented $2 trillion spending package meant to offer relief to workers and business owners suffering under the COVID-19 pandemic. The deal comes after 5 days of heated marathon negotiations, providing over $800 billion in support for companies, big and small, and boosting unemployment benefits, as the leading Senate Democrat told MSNBC.
We greatly reduced the restrictions on applying for unemployment. It's going to be very simple and very easy. And second, we give the states much more money to hire people so they can take the new loads that are coming.
It also includes a one-time payment of $1,200 directly to most American taxpayers.
The stimulus check would definitely help with my mortgage, as well as our 2 car payments. It would definitely help our family.
The package includes some strings, too. An oversight committee for big business bailouts, and a provision that businesses controlled by the president, vice president, members of Congress, and the cabinet don't receive federal funds, both key elements Democrats insisted on. The bill can now be passed and enacted within days, adding to economic support already provided by the Federal Reserve. President Trump also hoping to ease restrictions on social distancing that could allow some businesses to reopen by Easter.
Easter is our timeline. What a great timeline that would be.
But the virus is still spreading very fast in the U.S., and the nation's top expert is offering a different view.
That's really very flexible. We just had a conversation with the president in the Oval Office talking about, you know, you can look at a date, but you got to be very flexible and on a literally day-by-day and week-by-week basis.
Alex Prochet, ABC News, Washington.
Almost everything comes to a halt as the state and nation responds to COVID-19. So RTV6 is working to help you deal with your own cancellations. Coming up this half hour, the best tactics on reworking your event schedule. But first, COVID-19 is hitting younger people and spreading unpredictably. So we're finding out why and how exactly hand washing is so helpful in stopping the spread, whether it really works. coming up. Todd.
And Meredith, after a very, very foggy morning here across central Indiana, finally the sunshine is making an appearance, really for the first time this week. Here's a live look in Bloomington, where you see all that blue sky. We'll talk about the rest of today's forecast, which I think you're going to like, and then the rest of the week, which you may not be so happy about. It's all in your Storm Team 6 forecast. You're watching the news at noon right here on RTV6.
New Housewife tonight on ABC.
This is the news at noon on RTV6. At this point, we've seen how contagious the coronavirus can be, so you may be wondering how something as simple as soap and water can stop it. Under a microscope, coronaviruses appear to be covered in pointy spires, like this picture. Underneath that is a layer made up of lipids or fat that can be deconstructed with soap. One disease doctor compares it to trying to wash butter off of a pan with just water. You need soap to actually clean it. Once the lipid layer is gone, the virus is physically inactivated and can no longer bind to human cells. So even though your hands may be getting dry, remember to keep washing them. The coronavirus isn't wished for by anyone, but now scientists believe our guarding against it could prevent future superbugs. What hand sanitizer has to do with it? Still ahead. We'll be right back.
Dreams at Honda of Fishers.
Right now in the news at noon on RTV6, all sorts of closures and cancellations are happening as people try to curb the spread of COVID-19. Here's the Better Business Bureau's Tim Maniscalco with some expert tips on how to best navigate event cancellations.
Many events are being canceled. In fact, we were scheduled to go to the Elton John concert, and that's been scheduled. I think that's the second time now that they've had to postpone that. So a couple of things here. Number one, you really do need to understand the cancellation policy of the venue or the people that sold you the ticket. They do have a policy on this. I don't know if all of them really thought about this coronavirus situation, but you want to check that. You can dispute this with your credit card company. That may or may not be successful because, the credit card company is really just kind of a third-party transaction vehicle at this point. But that's really something that, you should try. Also, you want to check with the distributor of the tickets. They may have some sort of remedy or policy, something like that. Also, if you are doing traveling or anything like that, you might want to think about traveler's insurance, or if you bought traveler's insurance, that could be a remedy for you. And the other thing I would say is be a little patient at this point. Everyone is overwhelmed by this. A lot of these places simply don't have the customer service people in place to take care of all of the requests and all of the possible refunds or rescheduling that may take place out there. So just practice a little bit of patience, but be persistent. Sometimes persistence can pay off on things like this, and you will either get your money back or get some sort of a credit or something like that. But once again, a lot of this is up to the people who put on the event and, what situation they're in. So just be persistent, be patient, and hopefully, you'll get something out of this, but there's no guarantee.
All right, this morning we started off with some fog. This was the view from downtown off towards the west, and we went throughout the course of the morning. As we told you, that fog was going to start to lift and mix out, and you can see that happening there in the last few frames, and that is going to take us back to what it looks like right now, and that's plenty of sunshine right now across central Indiana. Still some cloud cover there off in the distance, but it's going to be a much brighter afternoon than it was a morning across the area. 41 degrees, the winds are calm. We started off with clear skies or cloudy skies across parts of the area this morning. As soon as we cleared, that's when the fog settled in with the calm winds that we had around. But now it's no longer an issue for us going forward. And with the added sunshine, temperatures are really going to start to moderate quite quickly across the area. We're in the 40s in most locations, a couple 30s here and there. But highs will eventually climb all the way into the 50s and 60s for us later on this afternoon. About 57 in Peru, 62 in Indianapolis, 63 from Bloomington to Columbus. Columbus. Everybody should get above normal. These high temperatures will occur probably not until around 6:30 this afternoon or early this evening. So you have to be a little patient to get there. But eventually it turns into a nice mild afternoon and evening for us. And take advantage of today because it's dry. We haven't had the sunshine really in the forecast since last week. And it's a good opportunity to enjoy our brief period of sunny skies because this overall weather pattern remains pretty active. Our next weather maker here is to the north, and that is going to arrive already tomorrow. This evening, if you have plans to maybe take a walk in the neighborhood, get outside with the family for a little bit of fresh air, temperatures will be in the 50s with a mainly clear sky. Sunset is at 8:03 tonight. Tomorrow's the opposite of today. Tomorrow we start with the sunshine and temperatures that'll moderate nice and quickly into the mid to upper 60s, but the day ends with the clouds and the rain moving in. So throughout the day tomorrow, our rain chances will start to ramp up, especially after 5 p.m. That's when we'll target the steadier rain to develop across the area, and it's mainly going to be in northern locations throughout the day tomorrow. That's the good news for those of you down to the south. You'll have a mainly dry day, but this will start a stretch of very wet weather for us. We'll have some scattered rainfall on Thursday and again throughout the day on Friday. And the rainfall totals by the time we get to Friday evening, generally under a ½ an inch. But look what happens when I advance this Friday night into Saturday. That's when we get some really heavy rainfall coming in. And we could see 2 to 4 inches of rain across the area. And that will lead to some flooding issues across central Indiana as we work our way into Saturday and Sunday. Good news is Sunday through Tuesday looks to be dry, Meredith, with seasonable temperatures.
Todd, thank you. Our Scripps partners at Newsy are taking a closer look at an encouraging outcome of this pandemic. Protecting yourself from the coronavirus now could help prevent more serious outbreaks in the future. Mark Greenblatt explains.
Alcohol-based sanitizers have largely disappeared from store shelves across America. In their place, signs warning of shortages.
We've been out for at least the last 2 weeks. Yeah, so, when everybody started panicking, everything flew off the shelf, probably in one day.
It's all part of the mad rush to fight off the spread of COVID-19.
I was trying to get a sanitizer, hand sanitizer. That's one of the things I wanted to get, actually. But apparently it's not there.
But is there a potential downside to the explosion of popularity for alcohol-based hand sanitizers? 2 years ago, an Australian researcher found that superbugs in hospital settings have begun to develop resistance to alcohol-based sanitizers. Superbugs are a strain of bacteria that has become resistant to antibiotic drugs, making them especially dangerous and sometimes untreatable. The findings of the study were widely shared around the world. So, with an unprecedented global use of the alcohol sanitizers happening right now, is it possible we're all fighting off one highly contagious virus today, only to be creating a dangerous superbug for tomorrow? Here's the good news. The Australian researchers themselves tell Newsy that their study was focused on one type of hospital superbug that is not widely present in the community. And they say the benefits to virus control by using hand rubs greatly outweigh the minimal risks of creating alcohol-tolerant bacteria. One of the top superbug experts in Canada, Dr. Andrew Morris, agrees. And as far as he's concerned, people should use as much hand sanitizer and soap as they can right now, saying if we can reduce the biggest current problem, everything else is going to be much smaller. And he says if we don't prevent the spread of COVID-19 now, then we very well could face another major problem down the line. Morris told us that if we see a huge, as expected, spike in severe COVID cases, you're going to see lots of antibiotics being used. You'll see people in crowded conditions, and that is going to be the absolute perfect setting for the development of superbugs. So while we wait for shelves to be restocked, the best advice, wash your hands. And the best on that? First, wet your hands. Turn off the tap. Then apply soap. Scrub for at least 20 seconds and rinse. Mark Greenblatt, outside Washington, D.C.
We're taking a live look right now. Downtown view to the west. The sun rolling in as the fog rolls out. Meteorologist Todd Clausen will have more of your Storm Team 6 forecast coming up. You're watching the news at noon on RTV6.
TV.com.
Enjoy this afternoon with temperatures in the 60s and sunshine. Dry most of the day tomorrow, but then a wet pattern Thursday through Saturday with some heavy rainfall Friday night into Saturday morning.
Todd, thank you. And thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. We hope to see you back here at 5. In the meantime, get out and enjoy that sunshine.